Mitush says the tape strikes again. He's giving me shit because I gave him shit this morning when he said about watching tape. Is that the correct? Because we always joke about with my brother, because we do the podcast for Fenerbahce. And back in the day, for those of us that remember VCR tapes and stuff like that, whenever a new manager came, they were like, oh, he's got all the tapes. He's watching tapes of last year, blah, blah, blah. And then we were actually referring to cassette tapes. I know in football, they always refer to watch the tape, or watch film. Film never lies and stuff like that, right? Is tape still the terminology, or are we old?
I mean,
I don't know why I'm asking you guys.
We're definitely old. First of all, tape is old. Film is older. That's the truth. But I mean, in the sports world, it was always film, because it was the old NFL films and they had all the reels and it was.
But I think that's for NFL. I've always thought soccer as tapes.
Yeah, I mean, I always used to say tape doesn't lie. You can watch old tapes, like. Yeah,
because you refer to tapes, like literally.
But that's because we're old and we used to have VCRs, Like I refer to things as, I remember having a floppy disk drive and people are like, why did they call it a floppy disk? It was a hard disk. And it was like, no, actually, originally at one point it was floppy. And that shit was even weirder. But we shouldn't go into this, And if you put your thumb in the wrong spot,
let's not go to floppy and the hard disk and all that. That's gonna take us a dangerous territory.
I forgot about the thumb thing. That was so ridiculous. Remember the thumb? You put it right in the middle, and the whole fucking thing would go away. Yeah. Why did you have that spot?
Yeah, what? It was just on? And that was like a big thing. Like, don't put your
that would ruin it. But half of us as kids would fan it like it was like a Polaroid, and that wouldn't do anything. Doesn't make any sense. I think
it's like that old Nintendo cartridge blowing into the cartridge thing.
I used to blow on it like it was a Nintendo cartridge, like it was going to change my shitty graphics.
I used to have a Commodore 64 where you use actually cassette tapes, and there was like a little screw that you would have to turn. Sometimes it wouldn't work, so you had to turn this so that it would load up properly.
True story. My sister is 9 years older than me, and she was a grad student at Westfield State College. And she was doing a grad program. And one of the things they were doing was testing the beta version for this informational video game called the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
So she brought her young brother in who didn't even know how to use a computer. And I'm playing this game. But no joke, fast forward to the first day I'm sitting in U.S. history as a sophomore. I skipped a grade so I could take this class a year early. So all the juniors hate me already because I'm in the class. And the teacher asked the question about why the inauguration is on January whatever, even though the election's in November. And I'm not even kidding. Like an 8-year-old kid, I remembered the Oregon Trail freaking question that asked me that. And I was like, because they used to have to take horse and buggy to get all the way from California to Washington, D.C. And the president's like, see? And this is why we let the sophomore into your enriched. And they all look at me. They're like throwing shit at me. And I just I'll never forget it. And it was the stupid ass Oregon Trail. That and me trying to play that game over and over.
That game is responsible for a whole generation of people that know what dying of dysentery means. Because you died of dysentery, and you're like, what's that? And you go over
Hold on. Serzi says I had a Spectrum 48. This is gonna be an old man show episode, but I remember the Spectrum 48K. I don't know if you guys remember this. They used to sell these books. So you would spend a freaking hour typing these, basically the programs into the thing. And then you had to press this and hold this to get the slash and all that kind of stuff.
No way.
And mind you, if you mixed one comma, it wouldn't work. So you would have to go back and check and stuff. And after all that work, it was just a basic thing of a guy going around and jumping. And we were like, this is so cool.
What was the video game system? I feel like it came out at the same time as Atari, maybe a little before, a little after, before Nintendo. It was the one where you get
bars?
where you'd get the game. You'd get the game, and then you would every game came with a little plastic sleeve, and the sleeve slid onto the controller. So it changed the controller buttons for what game you were playing. I'll think of the name of it eventually. it would literally, the thing only had 4 freaking buttons on it, right? But you'd like slide the thing in if it was Pac-Man, and it was like a green and a red, and it was like, and then you got like a key almost. It was Intellivison. That is right.
Oh wow.
And it was
James, you're old too.
Honestly, it was so bad. It sounds like one of those games. Like I could imagine getting one of those where like the game is you have to program it yourself. It would be like literally playing like that old game Life. And you're like, shit, I just got a mortgage, an ex-wife, and 2 fucking kids that aren't mine. Who the hell wants to do this on Saturday night with grandma?
ColecoVision. Man, I'm actually almost embarrassed, Bickler. Like, Gally was a bigger gamer back in the day compared to us, maybe. But then, when did you drop off gaming, man?
Right after
when did we
my
lose
Genesis.
you?
Yeah. right after my Sega Genesis. No, I had the first iteration of like a PlayStation, the first PlayStation 1, and I would play
whatever it was called, right? Like,
I would play like I would play James Bond, the 007 game, and then like I'd play the Tony Hawk skateboarding game for a while. A lot of sports games.
Man, Gally, you changed.
Yeah, man, you were so cool back in the day.
I mean, I was a teenager. I I met girls. I moved into the world.
Oh,
hey, you could do
nerd.
both.